Hi and welcome back if you're still listening to me, and thank you again if you are. So today I've picked one that's quite interesting because I like lighthouses, and this is a really good mystery. So it's based on the Flannan Isles, and on the 15th of December in 1900, there was a steamer known as the SS Archer that recognised the lighthouse and saw that it didn't appear to be operational. So they reported it in, alongside with some of the residents too. 3 men were listed to be working there. They were James Ducat, Donald MacArthur and Thomas Marshall. Due to the bad weather, it took the relief ship 12 days before it could venture out. Noticing that the flags were not up and there were no signs of life, the captain shot a warning flare. The relief keeper Joseph Moore then took a dinghy and went to shore on the 27th of December in the 1900s. So the lighthouse was silent, the doors were open, and the area seemed perfectly calm. There was a half-eaten meal, though this may have been a rumour that was added on later. The original log suggests that utensils, etc. were clean, and the dinner was already eaten. The lamps were ready to be lit, and there was an upturned chair alongside the table. Aside from that, the clocks had stopped and the fire was cold. And of the residents, there was no sign. Moore then came back. They sent 4 more people to do an investigation. They had apparently left with Ducat and Marshall kitted out, but MacArthur's oilskins were still hanging on the hook. The west landing had been damaged with the weather, and the life buoy was ripped from the mountain. The men were shouting out, and all they got back in response were their own voices. They did, however, find the entries in the log that puzzled them. So on the 12th of December they had put gale north by northwest, sea lashed to fury. Never seen such a storm. Waves very high. Tearing at lighthouse. Everything shipshape. James Ducat irritable. Storm still raging. Wind steady. Stormbound. Cannot go out. Ship passing. Sounding foghorn. Could see lights out of cabins. Ducat quiet. MacArthur crying. And then on the 13th they had another one, which was storm continued through night. Wind shifted west by north. Ducat quiet. MacArthur praying. And a later entry that said noon. Grey daylight. Me, Ducat and MacArthur prayed. So on the 14th and 15th, on the 14th there was no entry, and then on the 15th there was just one last line which said, storm ended, sea calm, God is over all. So the 3 men were experienced lighthouse attendants. Ducat had over 20 years working there, and this is why it strikes up as a mystery, because there's a whole bunch of varying theories. Some I'm going to ignore. The one that I'm ignoring predominantly is the one about UFO abductions, because it just seems a little bit out of it. But anyway, there were a couple of other things that were of interest. So the Fairwind was another vessel in the area, and their crew reported a ghostly longboat rowing away when the horns were sounded to them and there was no reply. Another interesting mention is the past of the island with the lighthouse on. It may have been reported as haunted. The Flannan Islands seem to have had the phantoms of 7 hunters who resent the intrusion of the lighthouse. Due to this, they lure men over the cliff to their death. The lighthouse keepers had marked up conditions, had meals prepared, and despite the foul weather would know that it would be unwise to go outside whatever trouble they thought was out there. And why would they close the door behind them if they left in such a hurry? So for another 70 years there was no instances, no other problems, and since then the lighthouse has been automated, so it's a little bit unusual. Now I'm a bit of a fan of Lovecraft, so quick quip about the idea of the deep ones taking them. So yeah, if you have a quick search on the net, there's quite interesting things that come up for it. And I just think, if you were going to enjoy a story that you might want to put together for yourself, that might be one. So it's the Eilean Mor mystery, and that's on the Flannan Isles. And again, the reason it's got this kind of creepy history, I suppose, is the last entry being storm ended, sea calm, God is over all. So yeah, what do you think?